Okay, Venus?
Okay, Steve.
Right. Let's go. Think, Lieutenant Nighty. Use your head, man. Get the ship under control. You'll never get your astronaut wings if you can't concentrate on what you're doing.
I'm sorry, Colonel Zodiac, sir. I'll have a ride in a minute.
A minute's too long, Lieutenant. Get her under control now. Just gotta keep your head. Don't panic.
I'm sorry, Colonel. It won't happen again.
Okay, Lieutenant Nighty, we're heading back towards Earth on the correct course.
Yeah, Colonel. How do you think I'm progressing, apart from that slip? Will I get my astronaut's wings?
Well, you're doing just great, Lieutenant, but remember, this is only the first step.
Yes, sir. I know what you mean. So far, I've just learned how to fly a ship in space. I've got to be able to make a touchdown before I pass Stage C.
That's right. Then comes Stage B, the blast-off from the launch rail with you as captain of the ship.
Guess the toughest of all is Stage A, the solo orbit of the moon in a space capsule.
As you say, that's the toughest of all. Have you been in touch with Space City Control, Matt?
Yes, Steve. Commander Zero has given us touchdown clearance.
Roger, Matt. Okay, Lieutenant, she's all yours. We'll see how you do a touchdown right now.
But Steve, I'm not ready.
Guess I'm the best judge of that. Now take her down.
In upper atmosphere now, Steve.
Roger, Matt. How do you feel, Lieutenant?
A bit scared, I guess, Steve. I didn't realize I'd have to touch down on this trip.
Fireball XL5 to Space City. We're coming in, Commander Zero.
Roger, Fireball XL5. Ready to receive you 60 seconds from now.
May take a little longer than that, Commander. We don't want to rush Lieutenant Nighty on his first touchdown.
Lieutenant Nighty? Are you crazy, Steve? He can't bring a ship down yet. He's not ready.
Gotta do it sometime. And I reckon it's right now.
Firing main retros.
Okay, Steve. If you say he's ready, that's good enough for me. Sound the alarm. Crash tender, stand by.
The trouble with Zero is he worries too much.
I don't know, Steve. The commander could be right. He usually is.
Okay, Lieutenant. Now keep your head and you'll make it okay.
Over Pacific now, Steve. 3,000 feet and steady.
The lieutenant wants to be a controller in Space City, so he has to learn to fly a spaceship. But who gets all the worries? Me! Oh, that tooty lieutenant's gonna crash Fireball. I can feel it in my bones.
Great, Lieutenant. We're over Space City. Now switch to downward thrust and take her down gently. Steady, Lieutenant. Hold her steady.
Reduce power. You'll have to reduce power.
Fire emergency retros, Lieutenant, fast.
Starboard wings dip, Steve.
Raise a starboard wing, Lieutenant. Lieutenant, the starboard wing, get it up. Well, Lieutenant, you got the ship down.
And what a mess I made of it, Colonel. I'll never be a full controller at this rate.
XL5 crew, report to Space City Control. Well, I guess 90's got through the first stage to winning his astronaut wings.
Well, the decision is yours, Commander, but I'd recommend it. This will make 90 far more capable of controlling space traffic.
Yeah, but don't tell him too often. He'll be getting a big head.
Is all this gear necessary, Dr. Venus? It's making my head ache.
I'm sorry, Lieutenant, but it is a little small for you. Now, if you stay still for a few more seconds, I may as well do your next free flight medical checks.
What's next for Lieutenant 90, Steve?
I reckon he ought to go straight out to Stage B.
Okay, Steve, you're the boss. Gee, I wish you'd have been around when I took my wings. I never had it this easy. Stand by. Stand by. Prepare XL1 for blast-off. Okay, Lieutenant 90. Guess you're gonna fly a ship on your own.
But, sir, not an XL ship. I need a crew.
Oh, now, relax, Lieutenant. You can take Robert as co-pilot.
Yeah, son. And I'll be your navigator. You'll have plenty of lone space flying when you orbit the moon in that capsule.
Come on, Lieutenant. I'll be in the ship's lab keeping check on your reactions.
Gee, thanks, Dr. Venus.
Lower winches. XL1 crew, this is Control. Prepare to board. Well, what does it feel like to be a backroom boy, Steve?
Not for me, Commander. I'm strictly an action guy.
Boarding XL1 now, Control.
Roger, Lieutenant. Okay, Steve, get the winches released and let's go.
Release winches and stand by for liftoff.
Standing by. All checks green. Go, go, go. XL1 to Control. Liftoff. A-OK.
She looks good, Lieutenant.
Yeah? Well, don't let it go to your head, 90. That ship cost a heap of dough.
He's doing just great, Commander.
Yeah, Steve, it looks that way. I wonder how he'll stand up to the third stage, the space capsule test.
That's a good question. The first astronauts 100 years ago found it pretty lonely, but it's still the best test of a space pilot's powers of endurance and aptitude.
Space City to XL1. Okay, Lieutenant, bring her back.
And let's have a real smooth touchdown, huh? Throttle back. Steady. Downward thrust retros. Easy. She looks good.
I made it! Matt! Venus! I made it! A perfect touchdown! You sure did, son.
Congratulations, Lieutenant.
Yippee! I commanded a ship.
Okay, pipe down, Lieutenant. You haven't won your wings yet. Now, relax for the evening. You're off duty till dawn.
And then for the orbit of the moon.
Steve Zodiac here.
Hi, Steve. How's the musical relaxation course going at Venus's beach house?
Just boss, Commander. How are you doing?
And we're checking the VTO rocket now. So long. Have fun.
All checks on capsule are green, Commander Zero.
Roger. File your report with records, then get some sleep.
Say, Venus, thanks for inviting us over to your beach house.
Yeah, it was a good idea of yours, Venus. Lieutenant would have worried himself sick in his quarters.
You're right, Steve. Right now, I'm just not gonna think about tomorrow.
All checks complete, Steve. And okay.
Fine, Commander Zero. I'll tell the lieutenant.
Yes, sir. The rocket's in swell shape. Blast-off time is at 900 hours. Blast off minus 4 minutes, Lieutenant.
Roger, Commander. Gee, it sure is cramped in here.
Yeah, 90. That's one of the hazards of wanting to be a controller. Stick with it and keep cool.
Fireball XL5 to control. Request permission to lift off. All systems read green, Commander.
Roger, Steve. Lift-off permission granted.
See you in space, Steve.
A-OK, Lieutenant. We'll be waiting for you. Liftoff, A-OK, Commander Zero. Heading for observation point 241, blue.
Roger, Steve.
Cut booster, Steve. We're out of Earth's atmosphere and approaching observation point.
Thanks, Matt. Are you ready with remote medical checking gear, Venus?
Yes, Steve.
Okay, Robert, keep her on free float.
On every load.
Okay, Commander. We're ready when you are.
Roger, Steve. Blast off minus 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. All systems go, go, go. A-OK.
Test capsule to Fireball XL5. Do you hear me?
Loud and clear, Lieutenant. You should be out of Earth's atmosphere now.
There goes the first stage. 2 more to go.
Test rocket approaching. Time we were moving, Matt. We must keep up with the Lieutenant if we're going to continue observation.
Roger, Steve. 90's capsule is on course 927, 0 green, lunar orbit route. Second stage away, Steve. Gee, it sure is hot in here. And this weightlessness is eerie. Bit different to Fireball with its artificial gravity.
The lieutenant's pulse rate is increasing steadily, Steve. but there's no cause for alarm at the moment.
Approaching lunar area, Steve. Prepare to go into lunar orbit, Lieutenant.
Steve, the lieutenant's pulse rate is very high. Something must be wrong in the capsule.
Lieutenant 90, run a check on all systems.
They all read green, Steve. Everything checks out A-OK. Going into orbit around Moon now. Last stage away.
Lieutenant's doing just great in my book, Venus. One orbit should be enough.
I agree, Steve. Apart from the increased temperature of the lieutenant's body, he has proved he can stand the psychological strain of being completely alone in space.
Cut main capsule motors, Lieutenant. You'll need all the fuel you have to break lunar orbit for the return journey to Earth.
Roger, Steve. Main motor's cut.
Orbit nearly completed, Venus. For my money, the lieutenant's on his way to getting his space wings.
Yes, Steve. His temperature has dropped too, ever since he cut the motors.
Could be they are overheating slightly, but it can't be serious. There'd be a warning alarm.
Guess you're right, Matt. Okay, Lieutenant, that's it. Break lunar orbit.
Roger, Steve. Firing main motors when space-time clock reaches 2:11:02. 6 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fire! It's getting warm again, Steve. And there's smoke. Steve! The capsule's on fire!
Don't panic, Lieutenant. Matt, what could have happened?
The reactor must have broken free. But it must still be operating or the alarm would have sounded. The capsule's out of control and gaining speed fast. And he means fast, Steve. Fire main boosters or we'll lose him. The motors have gone crazy. I'll burn up.
Jettison fuel, Lieutenant. Jettison fuel now. We'll catch up with you and come across.
The radio. It's failed. Hello, Colonel Zodiac. Can you hear me?
Matt, Venus, we've lost contact with the capsule. Lieutenant 90's radio must have blown.
And my contact with Lieutenant 90 has failed too, Steve.
This is serious, Steve. We don't know what's happening to him. I've got to get out of here. Must put on thruster pack.
You've got to trace that capsule, Matt. We've got to try and save him.
She's shot out of range. Wait. I've got it. Steer, 722 0 yellow.
Roger. Full power, main thrust. Matt, the capsule's slowing up. Lieutenant 90 must have jettisoned the fuel. Get me a thruster pack, Venus.
Okay, Steve. I'll meet you in the ejection room.
Follow capsule. Follow capsule.
Okay, eject.
Take care, Steve. Steve, are you okay?
Yeah, Venus. I guess so. But Lieutenant 90, he couldn't have stood a chance. Returning to Earth, Matt. Plot the course, will you?
Yes, Steve. You know it was an accident. You can't blame yourself.
Maybe not, Matt. But I keep asking myself, was the lieutenant ready for that space capsule test?
We all know he was, Steve. He won his wings before he went. Oh, Steve, how terrible. He was such a nice boy.
He sure was, Venus. Somebody had better tell Commander Zero.
I'll do it. But it's not going to be easy. I tried to reach him, Commander.
I know, Steve, that goes without saying. The lieutenant was the best assistant I ever had.
Yeah. He would have made a fine controller. I guess the World Space Patrol has lost a mighty good man.
You'd better get down here, Steve. There'll have to be an inquiry.
Sure, Commander. We're on our way.
One oxygen pill left. They'll never find me in time. I guess it's all over. I might as well have stayed in the capsule instead of ejecting into space without a thruster pack. Say, Steve, I'm picking up a strange signal on the spaceograph.
Okay, Matt. I guess we still have to carry on. Let's check it out.
Haven't got long now. But I reckon I won my wings. Hope they'll remember me back on Earth. They sure were a good crowd to work with in Space City.
Can you identify that signal yet, Matt?
No, Steve, but there's definitely something there. Drifting. Steve! It's a man!
What?
Yes, you were right. Could it be? Yes, it's Lieutenant 90.
Venus, thruster pack and oxygen mask to the ejection room, and fast.
Give him oxygen at rate 5 as soon as you reach him, Steve.
Check. Rate 5. Ejecting. Hang on, Lieutenant.
Well, I guess this'll put you right, Lieutenant 90.
Oh, gee! My astronaut's wings!
Congratulations, Lieutenant 90.
Good boy, 90. That was some show.
Well, you sure earned them.
Yep, I never doubted for a moment you'd do it, Lieutenant. But like I said before, don't let this go to your head. An astronaut like Steve here faces such dangers every day.
You know, Commander, for once, I don't think he has heard a word you said.
Astronaut 90 of the World Space Patrol.
I wish I was a spaceman, the fastest guy alive. I'd fly you around the universe in Fireball XL5. Way out in space together, conquerors of the sky. My heart would be a fireball, a fireball. Every time I gazed into your starry eyes, we'd take the path to Jupiter, and maybe very soon we'd cruise along the Milky Way and land upon the moon. To a wonderland of stardust, we'll zoom our way to Mars. My heart would be a fireball, a fireball. 'Cause you brightest of the stars.